TheAngryHoneyBadger.
Hey everybody, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and it's time for another build video. Today, it will be Elise. We've seen Elise fall out of favor for a lot of reasons. She's typically picked on by Riot a little bit, getting nerfed mostly because she was seen a lot through Season 3 and 4. But I actually think she's in an okay spot. Not the best, obviously, but I think she's fine. I still find her very enjoyable to play, and I've resorted back to the old school damage Elise. It's obviously not as impactful as it was originally, but I find it slightly more fun to play than full-on tank Elise, which is good and is reliable for especially the current meta, but she does a good job against a handful of champions because she can duel pretty well, and she does bring some good early game aggression too. So we're going to talk about Elise today. So the first things we're going to do is fight Zed and kill him, but besides that, let's talk about her runes and her masteries. So starting things off, let's talk about the rune page. Attack speed marks are going to be good, or hybrid pen. Both of those I like for different reasons. We're going to want armor seals. We, this game, are going to be taking, I believe, ability power glyphs and quintessences. Yes, we will, because that's what we want. We're really going to focus on damage. She does a good job with it, so why not do it? And then as for the Masteries page, it's down in the bottom right-hand corner. If you want to pause the video and check that out, do so, or go down to the description where you can check out the runes and Masteries videos, which are also informative and fun to watch. Hooray. Let's jump into her abilities so we know what we're talking about as the game goes on. First we have her passive, which is her spider swarm. In human form, Elise's human form, each spell that she uses will ready a spiderling when cast on an enemy. So spider form, Elise summons her spiderlings to fight by her side. Spiderlings will deal physical damage and take reduced damage from multi-target abilities. So your spiderlings, they're very good for tanking camps in the jungle. So bust out abilities on the camps, then let your spiderlings tank it up. You can go ahead and jump on in, but then make sure you back away from the buff or whatever you're killing in the jungle, and let your spiderlings tank the damage. You stay super healthy, and it's just fantastic. It's just remember to do that. You'd be able to jungle for years with that. So take advantage of your spiderlings. At level 1, we're going to put a point into our Volatile Spiderling / our Skittering Frenzy. Now, the reason we put a point into this at level 1 is because we can scout with it at level 1, and it's going to deal some decent damage, obviously, when we use it right away. And we really want the Frenzy because we want the attack speed to clear the camps. It's just going to be very beneficial. At level 2, we put a point into your Q ability, Neurotoxin, Venomous Bite. Obviously, it's your neurotoxin at range when you're in human form. It's going to be able to deal target's current health damage, which is very nice on beefy targets. Venomous Bite, you're going to lunge forward when you're in Spire form with this, dealing damage to the targets, plus 8% of the target's missing health. It's also very good. It is capped a little bit against monsters. Just be aware of that. So just be aware of that. We're going to max our Q out first. Now, people, depending on the style of Elise they are playing, if you're playing tank Elise, you typically will max out your Cocoon, which we're going to put a point into at level 3. Cocoon, obviously, you fire it out. It's Cocoon. When you're in human form, it'll lock them down. And then if you are not in human form, you're in spider form, it will have your Repel, which will let you go up and dodge all types of things, and then you can cast it on the ground to nearby targets and jump onto them. And yeah, it's fantastic. We like that too. So they're both good, but if you are building tank Elise, you will max out your Cocoon second for the more for the CDR on it, and for the increased duration Cocoon will last. But if you're going to be playing damage Elise, we're typically going to actually max out our Volatile Spiraling and our Frenzy second. So just remember which one you want to do. And then for your spider form, or your human form, your quote-unquote ultimate that you have at level 1, transforming into... Basically, while in spider form, Elise will deal additional percentage ability power bonus magic damage on her attack and will gain 25 movement speed. Now, so when you move around in the jungle, you want to definitely make sure, or if you just want to run to a lane quick, make sure you're in spider form. You move around a lot quicker. Just very important to do so. Yeah. Each level 2, you get additional spiderlings. It maxes up. They do different damage. I'm not going to go through all the damage numbers. There's a lot. If you want to read more into your spider form, it's very important to know everything about it, but there's lots of numbers. I'm not going to read all of them and be here for a minute just reading numbers. So let's talk about the build itself and the items. So we obviously started off with a Hunter's Machete, health pots. It's where you're going to go with it. Now there's a couple options, obviously, for jungle items. I actually think Okay, well, I think the base of the jungle items are all very balanced depending on what you want from them. Obviously, if you want to clear fast, you go Rangers. If you want to have the slow, you go Saber. I've really become a big fan of Skirmishers for the dueling purposes of it. It's just really nice, and Elise will duel people because she kind of is a duelist in a weird way when you solo lock down people with Cocoon and fight. So, and we do a lot of that this game. Also, taking that reduced damage, very helpful. Like I said, we're dueling. It's helpful for that reason. But get the one you want the most. Obviously, we will be building Magus enchantment on it because we do want the AP, we want the cooldown reduction. Very good. It's the item that we're definitely going to want to pick up first. We also then do pick up our Sorcerer shoes because we're going for the damage build. If it wasn't the damage build, we probably would go with Merc Treads, but it's the damage build, so we want the magic penetration. A lot of magic penetration on Elise tends to go a really long way. You just melt through people. We'll see that later on as this game goes on. So we will be picking up our Sorks. And then I also like to early on get myself Haunting Guize. I won't build it into Liandry's right away. We will finish it out into Liandry's, but Haunting Guize early is good for a few reasons. A lot of the champions that pick up a Haunting Guize early, they benefit from it because they get a little bit of extra health, and that does go a long way when you are in those skirmishing fights, when you are dueling. 200 health does go a long way. The ability power on it is good. It's not great, but the nice thing you also get is you get more magic penetration, and the magic penetration helps amplify everything. So that's just a really good thing. So when you have good base stats, which Elise technically does, that's just going to go a long direction. So we don't need to have 1,000 ability power to have tons of damage. We just need good penetration and some added ability power to get, quote-unquote, tons of damage. So that's why we wanted to get those. So we have 2 penetration items up front early on. Very helpful for just chunking down targets. The other things we do like to focus, and as I said earlier, we are playing a damage Elise. I still like to get some defensive damage on Elise. Defensive damage, in my opinion, would obviously be items that give you offense, but give you defense. So as you can see down below, we have defensive stat items, but we will be, picking up damage. So, of course, the Seeker's Arm Guard, which will get us some of that armor, which right now we have 112, pretty good amount. And that will be building into our Zhonya's Hourglass. Very, very nice item. Obviously, we can dodge even more damage by going invulnerable with it if we do want to activate it. We can also avoid other things, too. So we kind of have 2 invulnerables when we could go up into our Repel, which we will do later on, avoiding a Caitlyn ultimate at some point. So you have 2 things that can help you negate damage on Elise's kit. And then what we will be doing with the magic resist portion that we've bought is we'll build that into an Abyssal Sceptre at some point. And the nice thing about Abyssal is we get more damage. We also get more penetration, which we have now just, well, we didn't fully finish it off, but we're building towards it. We'll get more penetration when the people are around us, more ability power, magic resist. It's defensive, offensive. We're not really going straight tank, but we are chunking people down, which is what we want. That's what we're doing. So, fantastic stun lockdown there by Karma. We're going to throw a Q out and get the kill, pick up an assist on Sona. Things are going pretty well for us right now. So that is what we're prioritizing early on in the build. We've prioritized defense and penetration with the added offensive stats that all those kind of grant us. And some people might look at those items and actually say, well, actually, those are offensive with defensive stats bonus added to them. I kind of look at it the other way, just on Elise at least. So we're going to blow up the Ahri because she deserves it, and we're about to get sniped. Not sure if it would kill me, but we can just repel, get that off of us, and then come back down and run away. So we don't have to worry about that. So somebody else took the shot and didn't die. So yay for us not dying. Now, if you wanted to finish off your Haunting Guize into the Liandry's, the reason why Liandry's is nice is because you lock them down in Cocoon and just absorb all that damage onto them instantly. They'll be obviously taking the extra damage because they will be locked down. So we're going to do the same thing just right there to Sona. She gets locked down. We avoid the onslaught of shadows, and Karma picks up the kill. We're taking a lot of damage. Good thing we have that magic resist, and now we're going to run away. Luckily, we can just, I don't know. Oh, we lifestealed through the dot. Luckily, Zed is not having a great game, so his damage is a little bit poor. Also, fun fact, the Zed ultimate doesn't do any damage if he doesn't follow up by dealing any damage while the mark's active. So the base damage of the mark itself is really low. So that was his. If he would have autoed me once, would have died. Just probably from the auto itself, but would have died from it popping too. But remember that you can jump in and get the heal back from skittering, and that's pretty helpful. Because, like I said, Skittering Frenzy will heal you. hooray fun things. It also keeps you alive in the jungle. Double whammy. So, we're going to keep building. Obviously, we're going to go and finish off that Liandry's in just 1 second. So let's talk pros and cons with Elise. The things I like about Elise, pros and con-wise, is I think she works very well when you decide you either want to go tank with her or damage with her. I think she can play both the roles very well. Now, negatives are skill shot, stun. It's a good thing, but you want to make sure that you land it, because if you don't, you will have a bad time. It is true. But the nice thing about the Cocoon and her ability to gap close on ganks is she can be very, very effective early on in the game. And when you're very effective early on in the game, you can just get your lanes ahead, get yourself ahead, and carry that onward. So we pick up a double kill there that might have looked ridiculous, but that's just that much penetration and that much damage. So it just works really well. It's just super fun. As for our last item, this is totally situational, but once again, we're going to go with what I call the penetration build. So we have picked up the Void Staff. We get more ability power, but we get more penetration. So whenever we hit them with anything, it's going to hit like a truck. And it looks like it hits like a truck too in the video. I mean, just watch it how much these people are getting chunked. It's just very damaging. It's a good thing. We like that. The other things you could do, Luden's Echo. Seen a few people do it on her. Mixed results. Not terrible, but not amazing. Also, the Death Cap would also be a fine choice indeed. If they had a really tanky team and you really wanted to cut back on their healing and such, you could really probably do a Morellonomicon. Cheap item. Would definitely max you out on CDR if you weren't already pretty close to maxed out on CDR right here. But Magus enchantment does give you 20% cooldown reduction, so you wouldn't really need to worry about getting tons more on your CDR. The main thing about the old tank Elise is you would do max CDR, which would allow you to then throw your cocoons a lot more often. And it was a good thing for ganking, and just while you were in the middle of ganks, you could start with it and you could pretty much end with another cocoon. You just want to make sure that you would land them. So I still think Elise is really fun to play. You need a little bit of practice with her. Don't go too aggressive. It sometimes is a little too easy to chase. You got to remember that although you might be able to cocoon them at max range, you might be able to repel onto them, and you might be able to venomous bite at them. You can close a lot of gap really fast, which is great. But if you do it too fast away from your team, you can leave yourself stranded, and you just got to be a little bit careful about that. So definitely keep that in mind. If you really wanted to not worry about a last final item, we would have significant damage, and we wanted to contribute to the team play a little bit more, we could pick up a Sightstone and build it into a Ruby Sightstone. Just also depends on how we're doing early. You'd get more health from it, and we already have decent resists, so we could control the map better. We'd have better health as well. That's a good thing. So we'll be able to finish out this game rather soon. So, yeah, pros and cons. I think we went over a handful of them. She doesn't technically need the scaling to deal damage to, but it does work well, or it can work well at least. She does a good job too at controlling objectives, since she can bite them with her Q and smite. It is a good way to execute minions and a good way to control objectives. So it's not like a Nunu Consume, not quite as big, but it's on the same premise of her being able to control the damage that she wants to deal to execute something. So it's very good at controlling dragons and barons. So that's another thing when it comes to pros and cons when you are playing some Elise. But we'll be able to finish out the game right here as we are in their base, ending all the game things, yay, hooray things. And yeah, if you have any questions about Elise, leave me comments down below. But yeah, other than that, have fun with Elise, try her out, and good luck next time you're playing her on the Fields of Justice.